I don't have no time to be playing games. Nah, I don't have no time to be playing games. No, no playing games. Nah, no playing games. It's not about money. Nah, it's not about things. Not about prestige and titles. Not at all. You don't even know me. You don't even know me. I am an instrument of praise. I am an instrument of praise. I learn the weapon, I'm a pro. I am not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. Not at all. I am not ashamed. When the time for war, I cock it back and let it bang. On my I can stand up. It's real. Royalty in our blood. We is real. Looking for the lost sheep. If it's real, let them know there's only one power. He for Israel. Yeah. It's not a game. I don't have no time to be playing games. Nah. I don't have no time to be playing games. No. No playing games. Nah. No playing games.
Sometimes I'm insane, thoughts locked in my brain, like locked in a cage. Been 30 years, man, won't forfeit this game. I pray for a change when faced the east pain. Why things be the same? My tears fall like rain. Sometimes I give up, my flesh be like fuck, like karma, bad luck. But I'm a Hebrew, no time for Hindu. Reap what you so brew, my heart be so true.
Yeah, so true.
Misunderstood, bruised. Life could be so cruel. Seems like I go through same lessons Hebrew.
I don't have no time to be playing games. Nah, I don't have no time to be playing games. No.
All right. Shalom, shalom. All praise go to the Most High, Bashim Mashak Yahushua. Just want to go through some particular topics amongst the Black American people, aka you Hebrew Israelites, because we are the real Jews. And the Bible talks about curses that was going to be placed upon the children of Israel for being disobedient to the Lord's statutes and commandments, which you can find these curses outlined in the book of Leviticus, the 26th chapter, the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. You can read this also in the book of Daniel, the 9th chapter. You can also read these things in the book of Baruch. Various places will highlight and prophetically the destruction of our people. And in order for you to destroy your people, you must destroy the family structure, right? In order for them to have destroyed us as a nation, they had to cause Israel to forget the law, right? That the Most High gave us on Mount Sinai, right? So there's a lot of factors what we think about us as a people. Psalms the 83rd chapter tell you there's a confederation against the nation of Israel, that we should cease from being a nation. And our nation is destroyed for the lack of knowledge, Hosea 4:6. Because the Bible says we reject the law, so the law was going to reject us. All right, so I want to highlight a sister that I grew up with as a young person, right, in the 90s. Late 80s and early 90s was very pivotal. I'm saying it wrong. Was very pivotal for me growing up. It made me stay focused on Black culture, even though my mind had always been on that. You know, I've always been the kid that asks why. Why is this? Why is that? Why? I never lost the why. And that's detrimental to people when they forget the why. Because when you don't ask questions, then you would just settle for whatever that you see using your five senses, hear, right? With sight, which is sight, your eyes, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. This is how we learn. Okay, this is how our brain operates. This is how we receive information and make sense of it. All right, through the visuals that we see, through the sounds that we hear, right, by the smells that we smell, by the things that we touch, right, and the things that we taste, right. These all shape your reality. Okay, right. You may see, but you don't understand what you're looking at, what you see. Like we teach colors in pre-K, right? How do you know red is red? You may see it now, understanding that it's red, but as a child, how do you know that's red? You know what I'm saying? How do you intellectually understand that that color there is considered to be red and be able to, to intellectually define it and make sense of it, of being red? Okay. You see what I'm saying? So everything that you have learned, right, you have actually have been taught. Okay. Somebody had to make the sense of it, right? Even though you may have been trying to figure it out in your mind. Like, why is this? Why is that? Okay. So we have been programmed. We have been programmed since the invention of the television program system, right? Another psychological wave or psychological system to program us to have these thoughts, these feelings, and these ideologies, right? And they had a movie back in the 90s called The Matrix, and everybody, it was about people in a system that they believe is real, right? Because they were stuck in a program, right? Like a computer program, but it's not actually real. It's this a virtual reality, right? In which they trying to shape and been shaping this virtual reality system for years now. Facebook, social media, is a form of virtual reality, right? The megaverse, whatever they call it now, right? So the things that we've been programmed and things that we have learned has been shaped through your parents, right? Whether it was your mother, usually for our community, Black women has been running the community or running the household. That's prophetic in Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, 12th verse, right? So I'm going to read some scriptures. It's not going to be a thing of this continuously talking, but I'm going to review this video of Dr. Shahrazad Ali, one of the most respected women, Black women on the planet Earth, from majority of Black men, all right? A sister that had the courage to speak up against the ideology and the falsehoods and the manipulation and the programming that has been instituted in our women, okay? Which goes all the way back to the Willie Lynch making of a slave, right? A lot of people don't want to accept the reality of the truths, you see what I'm saying? Because they are in denial, just like other races are in denial of their systematic racism, okay? And how this program have destroyed our youth mentally, spiritually, okay, even physically, right? It's all a program. It's all a system, right? It's all psychological warfare, which we may say spiritual, okay? So this sister, Dr. Shahrazad Ali, back in the 90s was able to write a book and shake the foundation of Black America. Excuse me. And so as myself being in education, right, and working in Black institutions or these school systems that was not created for Black people, right? The school system was created for wealthy white males. I believe it was 1635, right? Year 1635, which we know today as the public school system, was not made for Black people, okay? We was in slavery in the year 1635. We were slaves, right? 1635, slavery wasn't abolished. I think like what it was. I think it was 1865 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So, but anywho, the education system was created for white males, not for our children, and this is why one of the reasons you can see that our children are struggling, because this form of education was never meant for us. And so the religious system, the Christianity, was given to us by our former or current slave masters. Okay, right? So everything that we learned about religion from that perspective was handed down by our European oppressors, right? That institutionalize us in according to their belief system, and to control us. Okay, the Willie Lynch making of a slave is a psychological program that was instituted to control Black men through our women. First Ezra, the 3rd chapter, talks about the woman is stronger than the king and the wine, right? So in order for you to destroy a nation, you must destroy the women, right? Right? In terms of, let me say that over. Let me reinstate that. In order for you to destroy a nation, you must destroy the men. In order for you to destroy the men, you have to go through the women to destroy the men. We have a perfect example of that in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, where the Black woman was used by Hasatan, Satan, to destroy Adam. And he did not go through Adam, he went through Eve, which you always use the weaker vessel. Okay? Right? Eve knew what not to do, okay, and she did it anyway. And Adam fell victim to the continuous pressure of the woman, as you see in the example of Samson and Delilah, okay? But she was a strong male, but by her continuous pressuring him, okay, at the same time making love to him, using the power of the Quabah to seduce and break the man down, he eventually bends to her will, okay? And these things have happened over and over. When you look at Solomon, when he was of age, as an aged man, he fell victim to his women, right? King David, like we can go all through the scriptures. Like women have always been a prime participle, or she has always been a major factor. Let me get the correct, a major factor in either the development or destruction of the nation. All right. She's always was there. Right. These are examples that our women should be learning. Are you being a vessel of honor, right? Or a vessel of dishonor? Are you here to be an entity of uplifting, or you're being a tool to destroy? Right? You see what I'm saying? And the Bible, you know what I'm saying, is our basic instruction before leaving earth. Okay. Right. So, I mean, I can really go on a whole nother level of having these different conversations, you know what I'm saying, from another perspective. But what I want to do is highlight, a sister, that's a Muslim sister, which is ironically crazy because, how are the Muslims women, a Black woman, is more in the spirit than our sisters that's claiming to be Hebrew Israelites, the daughters of Sarah, right? These things have to be exposed, or I should say, spoke on. We need to analyze these things and analyze from people from other influences, right? So this is a famous sister, Dr. Shahrazad Ali. She's an older woman at this point, but she's a very wise, beautiful, spirited woman, man. And even a brother of mine, Judah Mack, was like, yo, listen, if she was a single woman, I'll marry her. I don't care how old she is. And I concur, right? You see what I'm saying? Because favor deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that fear the Most High, she shall be praised. And she's actually, if I can remember, the 5th wife of her husband. And she has nothing but power, respected all over the world, right? And feared, I might add. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to see review this video and let's see if she's saying anything that we can remotely relate to the scriptures. And I'm saying, of course, people gonna get in their finger, gonna get in their bag because they don't want to hear truth. So let's explore this truth right here. Let's see what's going on with our sister Dr. Shahrazad Ali and the detriment of the breakdown of our family structure, where you have only 33%, right? Statistics tell you, however, in matter of fact, let me see if I can share this right quick. Let's show a couple statistical facts here, right? Before we get into it, right? It says, however, in 1970, 35.6% of black men and 27.7% of black women were never married, right? So if you look at that number, you're seeing that in terms of black men, it was only like 20, 30, 70%, right? 20, well, that's 35, 65% of black men were married, right? Right. And then you have 27% of black women that were never married. So more than 70% of black women were married in 19. However, before the 1970s. And these numbers has dropped after the 1970s because you had drugs was infiltrated into inner cities of Black America, because you had the uprising of the civil rights movement. You had the Black Panther Party, right? You had the Muslims, the Black Muslims rising up. It was a great era of Black consciousness, right? The Hebrew Israelites was there at the time, right? Which was really not spoken of, but they was there in the mix of all of that, right? And so we see that our family structures were together. Now it's backwards now. Scripture said surely the turning of things upside down should be esteemed as a potter's clay, right? So now look at the statistics. But by 2020, these percentages had jumped to 51.4% black men and 47.5% for black women, right? That have not married. So we got the black man and black woman statistic concerning not married, right? I'm going to go over some of these things, right? I did a paper on this as well. Let me see. Right here, I did a paper here concerning my school district. And what does it says here? It says, let's talk about marriage status in our school district, which makes up 69% single-parented led homes versus 31% married couples, which is 50% females never married and 40% males never married. So this is in accordance to what I just mentioned, right? You see what I'm saying? So numbers don't lie, people lie. Okay, numbers don't lie, right? If I go here and we look at this black demographics here, and we see what it says here. Let's read this. Black marriage in America. Over the last few decades, marriage has been declining institution among all Americans. And this decline is even more evident in the black community. In 2020, only 30% of African Americans were married. Right, so 70% of African Americans, so-called Black American Hebrew Israelites, are not married, compared to 48% of all Americans. Right, so they just is as close as all cultures. That's American. Half of 50% of African Americans have never been married, compared to 34% of all Americans. Now we're talking about marriage certificates and things of that nature. I myself will be a part of this statistics legally. Okay. All right, so after viewing the available data, we see that although fewer black women are now married, fewer black women are now married. So we're single, right? I don't need no man. I can do bad by myself. To the left, everything you own to the box to the left. You're a bugaboo, you bugging me. You bugging who? You bugging me, right? You have to have a job if you want to be with me. You know what I'm saying? You're not my father. You can't tell me what to do. All this independent, throw your hands up, all this back and forth, the uncontrollable nature of these women and their mouth, okay, has definitely been a a strong reason why you're not married. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And the Bible tells our young women to marry. See, but we have this cultural ideology that we should not marry. And the thing about the Hebrew Israelite community is that, you know, brothers have tried to be responsible and, you know, taking a wife or being with a woman and consider her his wife versus when, you know, we was just you know, put adding it to the notch on the belt to say, yeah, I didn't, you know, my numbers is up there. You feel me? But that's another part of the conversation. But I just want to finish reading this. Black women are now married. Matter of fact, after viewing available data, we can see that although fewer black women are now married, more black women than black men have been married at least once. Right, so black women have been married more than black men at least once. It says this because a higher percentage of black women are divorced. This is a higher black women are divorced and widowed than men. So showing you that black men are committed in relationships more than the black woman. Right? Okay, so these black women has a high divorce rate and a low marriage rate. Right, which is backwards. This is because a higher percent of black women are divorced and widowed than men, and we can understand the curses concerning the black man, and you know, systematic destruction of our men and these different things. You know, there's gang culture, drug culture, all these different things that's going on. And, you know, this is outlined in the curses, Deuteronomy 20, 54, 55, 56, 57, in terms of both of us. Also in 2020, just under half of 48% of black women have never been married, which is up from 44% in 2008 and 42.7% in 2005. So black women are not being married, and the numbers are increasing. Okay, simple. It's just increasing. All right, and black marital status. We have what? Married in blue. We got dark green, never married. So we see black as a whole, man and women, is 30% married. That's crazy. So we have children growing up that do not have a biological father and a biological mother in the home together. Okay, and you think that this is not a detrimental fact, that this is something that, you know, it's not going to be considered a destructive tool when the Lord told us two are better than one, right? You see what I'm saying? The Most High made male and female, created he, them. And the two of us supposed to come together and become one flesh. So what's going on here? What's really going on here, right? Something is going on that we're not able to have stable, you know, functional homes where there is a biological father and a biological mother in the home, right? So we got separated 3%. If they do get married, 3%, which is what 10% of them, right? Basically, 30, but 3% of them is separated. 12% divorce rate, right? Which is definitely high for that percentage. And widows 6%, 50% never married. Black men never married or married married was 33%, and which is higher, as you see, than the black women married. So black men want to be married more than the black women. How is that possible? And so they separated at 3% and divorce at a 10% rate and widow at 3% because women usually outlive men. And never married black men says here 52%, right? But they still higher married versus black women at a 27% rate, and they separate at a 4% rate. So the black woman institute this separation, and she divorced at a higher level, and 8% divorce rate. Okay. So according to all the United States of America, 48% outside of Black America, 40% married, 34% never married. So we are right here at 50% throughout the whole population of the United States of America. Okay, black people. This is marriage status by race. Married 30%, Hispanic 43%, whites 52%, Asians 58%. That is crazy. And we try to figure out, why are we struggling as a people? Why are you struggling as a people? Because our households are destroyed. This is crystal clear what's going on. Okay, it's crystal clear. You see what I'm saying? And and a 12% divorce rate at only a 30%, that's matching a 52% married rate of European at 12% divorce. How is that in comparison? Right? when we at 50% never married and they at 28% never married, but then we're still equal with divorce rate with the so-called European. Right? You see what I'm saying? And we at basically at the same, statistics concerning widow or whatever the case is. Right? So the Asians are, less separated, less divorced, and less mortality rate of spouse. Okay, so this is Black demographics, the African American population article. It goes here. It says African Americans are least married or major racial ethnic groups in America. According to the Census 2020, ACS surveyed 30% of African Americans were married, compared to 43% of Hispanics, 52% of whites, 58% of Asian, also 50% of African Americans have never been married to 20% of whites. Right. So I mean, these are statistics. These are numbers. If anybody went to school and did statistics, you know that numbers don't lie. People lie. And that's just the fact. Right. So let me see. Then they talk about this interracial marriage status. They also believe that 70% of Black men marry white women. This is often cited as one of the causes of lower marriage rates among Black women. This, however, is only partially true. This is how it's only partially true. It says while Black men marry white women at twice rate that Black women marry white men in 2021, only 15% of married Black men were married to non-Black women, which is unchanged from 2017, but up from 11% in 2010. All right, and 8% in 2000. About 8% of married Black men were married to white women in 2021, and 4% were married to Hispanic women. Okay, so they're not marrying white women more than they are trying to be with our women. Okay, it says there was evidence of increasing Black men married out of their racial demographics between 2010 and 2017. However, that percentage has remained steady since. In fact, the Pew Research Center released a report finding that 25% of Black male newlyweds in 2013 married non-Black women, compared to 12% of Black women who married out. Okay, and the sister will say, "See, look, they marry white women," but at the end of the day, the child is what the fathers are, Hebrew Israelites. Understand that. Okay, and so why are we marrying these women? What's the point of marrying these women? Right? You see what I'm saying? What is this? I believe the point is it's hard to deal with our women. They don't want to take no responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? They want to control the situation. You know what I'm saying? And Black men is not going to allow it, man. You're not going to allow it. It's just ridiculous. You should not allow it. Black marriage in 2021 among non-Hispanic African Americans aged 15 of Black married men. 85% have a Black wife. 85% have a Black wife. Boom. There go your statistics there. Other white spouse, you see at 8% white, Hispanic spouse, 4%. Okay, so it's a note there of 556,087 more married Black men than married Black women. Wow, look at this. This is crazy. Note there are 556,387 more married Black men than married Black women. Look at that. Beautiful. Right? Beautiful. Right? Right. So you got married Black women, 93% have a Black husband. Boom, and 4% white. Okay, but we're outnumbered the Black woman when it comes to marriage. How about that? Okay, See, so numbers don't lie. They have things out here concerning statistics, right? The history of black marriage, right? You see here what it says here. In 2012, the U.S. Census Bureau released a report that studied the history of marriage in the United States. It discovered some startling statistics when calculating marriage by race. They found that African Americans aged 35 and older were more likely to be married than white Americans from 1890 until sometimes around the 1960s. That is a powerful tool. That's a powerful statement, right? That we was about family. They found that African Americans aged 35 and older were more likely to be married than white Americans from 1890 until sometime around the 1960s. So between that 70-year gap, we was marrying. Not only did they swap places during the 60s, but in swap places, wow. In 1980, the number of never married African Americans began a staggering climb from about 10% to more than 25% by 2010, right? While the percentage for white women remained under 10% and just over 10% for white men, right? So look at the history of us being married, booed up, coupled up, right? So give me some more charts, more statistics. I'll probably share this in my Facebook page or whatever the case is, but this is a very interesting article. Okay, very interesting. Black women more likely to be married than white women. Okay, so what we have here, we have the green being representing the white, and then we have the purple, black women, right? And they have black women more likely to be married than white women until 1970. So we was the one that was marrying versus the white women, right? Until the 1970s, right? And so now it reversed. It went the opposite direction. Okay? It went totally the opposite direction. All right? So, yep. So I might come back to this a little bit. Where are the black men with jobs? Says, where are the black men with jobs? It's a very interesting article here. All right. Nationwide, there are 93 black men with full-time jobs. Nationwide, there are 93 black men with full-time jobs. Every 100 black women with full-time jobs, but that number can be very greatly dependent on the location. Right. San Diego has 167 full-time working black men for every 100 full-time working black women. Wow, 49% St. Louis, where I live right now. Wow, 49, number 49, St. Louis only has 78 full-time working black men for every full-time working black women. Okay, so that's what it is. San Diego has 167 full-time working black men for every 100 full-time working black women. Right? So St. Louis, you definitely, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to finding a mate that has a job or career, you at the bottom of the totem pole, right? So, you know, the choices of men is scarce out here, okay? Scarce, you know what I'm saying? Top 5 metros, black men for every 100 black women. You got San Diego, Seattle, Denver, Phoenix, Minneapolis. So if you're looking for some brothers that's holding it down, got good jobs and working, right? For every one of you, women, you have to go to these cities. The bottom in St. Louis on the bottom, baby. You got Milwaukee, Birmingham, Little Rock, Cleveland, Ohio. Wow. And St. Louis. Right. So these are some very interesting facts. They got something South Carolina in here. For metro area black women, something South Carolina got family there. Right. You got Athens, Georgia. Right. So check out this website. It's called blackdemographics.com, household marriage in Black America. Right. But right now, let's get to where I really want to get to. I want to hear my sister Shahrazad Ali, talks about all black women. Let's share what she got going on here. Let's see if she's bugging out.
I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Moshe Jackson back with another episode of Fair Use. I'm reacting to things only.
Peace and Black Power family. How is everyone doing today? All right, we got a lot to cover. We have a very exciting guest, and I see everyone was, been sitting in the waiting room, waiting for us. So thank you so much for the support. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's start there first, family. I need for you guys to like this video. You need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you are on Facebook, okay, you need to follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, I know, because we see you guys interacting and we see a lot of people here, but we know you guys flip through our pictures and say, oh, that's such a nice picture. Oh, I'm so happy such and such is coming on. But you guys don't ever like it, or you don't ever follow us. So we need for you guys to like, subscribe, and share. Okay. With that said, let's just, I just want to just thank everybody for your support, and not just me. Our whole team at Hoppy wants to thank you guys for supporting us. Please get your copy of the Happy Film at happyfilm.com right here. Okay, guys, you guys have to get a copy. If you don't have it, somebody, if you already have it, somebody that doesn't have it. So we want to make sure that, you pick up a copy for someone, or just tell them like, hey, pick up Hoppy. This is a really good documentary. It's 2.5 hours. And it's 30 scholars on here breaking down economics. So it's very important for you guys to get right there. You can get the DVD copy, or you can get a digital download. Also, while you're on our website, it's right below happyfilm.com. You can, there's a lot of other things you can do. You can sign up for the newsletter, which is very important. We do a monthly newsletter, and in this newsletter, we have a couple of outstanding articles all the time. We have a health article that Abut Shashat does from the Shrine of Ma'at. So I'm not going to even try, but I will just say her name, Miss Shahrazad Ali.
Yeah, let's get to the
Hello.
point.
Okay. All right. I was telling you, I was telling everyone, well, no, I was telling you, but I'll tell everyone that you look so regal in your red. Looks very nice.
Well, thank you. All of the colors belong to us, and so I can wear any of them just like you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. I got my red lipstick on. All right. So, before we get started, let's just start a little bit. Just tell us a little bit about you.
Like what?
Well, this is where you come from. What you doing now? Just a little bit something. Just a little something for me.
I'm from Atlanta by way of Cincinnati, and I ended up in Philadelphia. And I wrote my first book, How Not to Eat Pork or Life Without the Pig, in 1985. And I went out to take it around, and I would take the microscope and I would show people how the worm looked in the pork meat, and that you couldn't kill it with cooking it, because they always told us as long as you cooked it well done, it would kill the parasite. And I was showing people how it looked in the brain and in the knees, and how it caused so many problems that we have. And it's certainly, eating pork has caused a behavior problem, because many of us are running around acting like wild pigs, wild boars. And so I recognize that. But the one thing I noticed in my audiences, and I was going around the country then, I was new to it, things, and that was that a lot of the men understood what I was saying. They accepted that truth, and they were talking about they wasn't going to eat it and change their diet and stuff. But it was the sisters who were saying, I'm not changing what I cook. You're going to eat what I cook anyway. And hey, my grandmama been eating it for 100 years, all this kind of nonsense. And so as I listened to that, I began to think, well, now if we are withholding the proper food from our Black men, and food is what sustains life, then what else are we withholding that affects his ability to survive from us? And that's how I started doing the research on the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. And as they say, the rest is history. Then I wrote the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. And I wrote Are You Still a Slave?, which is a test book where you take 2 tests and you determine how much of a slave are you still acting like, even without a slave master. Because most of us think we have overcome that, but our behavior says something else. And then I wrote Things Your Parents Should Know. I wrote Urban Survival, which is a book on how to live in your home, or how to make it on the streets or without electricity, or how to deal with your food and your waste and things like that. And then I did Things Your Parents Should Have Told You, which is an excellent book if you have a child or even for yourself, that tells you things that many adults have withheld from their children. And so many of our children have gotten killed in the streets by white police and other white people who hate them because we didn't tell our children the truth. And so they just defenseless out there because they don't know who the enemy is, because we didn't tell them, because we didn't want to keep them from getting a job. And we thought that, having certain ideas would prevent them from that. And we thought it was too heavy for them and too, much information, but that has cost us. And so this book tells them a lot of basic information they need to know about surviving in America.
Wow. Okay. So I'm just going to take you back just a little bit before we go there. So when you were younger, were you always like a writer, or did you just think, oh, okay, I love writing, I'm just going to do this? Or did you just write out of necessity?
No, I knew that I was going to do something with books. Now, the way I knew that is that even when I was a little girl, I was just mesmerized by books. I would go in the library and just walk down the aisles, rubbing my hands, touching all the books. I would open them and see how they were made. I would take them apart. So I knew, I felt I was going to do, but I didn't know what I was going to do with a book. But I knew I liked books. I liked how they were, and I saw the books differently. My books are not just run-of-the-mill page after page of writing, because I saw the book, and I see a book as a canvas. And you can put anything on that canvas you want to, pictures, names, anything. And so I did mine differently because I wanted to be able to really express myself on the paper of the book. But no, I knew I was going to do something with books, but I was very poor, and that was very far away. And so I think I used to go into the books in order to survive, to get ideas, to read about other places and do things. So I always knew I was going to do something with a book, but I didn't know. And then after my first husband died, I was sitting at the desk one day, and I was sitting at the desk, and I was broke, and we had spent the money, and I was trying to figure out what would I do. I didn't have anything, but my teacher always said, you have to make something out of nothing. And I looked at my desk, and I didn't have anything but a ream of paper and an old Olivet typewriter.
Oh,
and wow. That's what I used. Yeah, I didn't even do it on a computer. We didn't have no computer there,
Wow. No. I'm laughing because I actually know what that is.
Yes.
Right. Wow.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
So, that was kind of it. And then I started, of course, traveling. My children had got big enough for me to be able to do that. And I could leave them with some other sisters. And I would travel and go out and try to teach. And that's what I felt I should do. Now, let me say this. God didn't call me. I didn't get no revelation from God. Okay. I called me. And I decided this is what I wanted to do. God don't need no help. See, but I decided I wanted to do this out of my affection for our people and the poor condition that we are in and that we continue to be in today. It's just a more modern time and things have changed. But change doesn't always mean better. Change just means different. And so things are different now, but we are still subjected to the same type of evil by these other people that we were, 30 years ago when I first came out here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So in terms of the you touched a little bit about it, but what inspired you to write the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman? and the black
just
man, like
explained
you're
that. I
saying.
went out
I
and I
know,
saw
but no,
how people were
I
talking.
know, but you gotta you gotta give us some more, okay? I know you. Listen, wait. Let me just take a little pause here. Let me tell you, you guys. I called this sister and I said, okay, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? I was asking her, I was like, what do you want to talk about and everything? And so, because I was like, we hear, there's lots of videos of you out there. So she started to tell me what she wanted to talk about. And then I was telling her, well, we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. She's like, then why you ask me? So yes, I tell you, this is like straight auntie all the way. So I'm so sorry, but I want you to go in more deeper. Maybe that should have been my question. Like what, what
it's
was
not
it?
really about me. See,
Okay.
I don't want to get lost in that because it's not really about me. It's about us and our pitiful condition and the things we are trying to do and the things we are refusing to do in order to make our lives better. And I did a great deal of research. Everybody can do the research in their own house, in their own family, because all of us suffer from the same things while we think we're different. We're not different. I've had people say, you must live in the house with me. I know you must know my people, but I don't. But I know our condition from looking at many of us, talking to many of us, our men and our women and our children, our gays, our lesbians. I've talked to a bunch of us from coast to coast to find out some of what's on their mind so that I could try to study what do we need to do to correct it, because the corrections have been given, but we have tended to reject any truth because it's not our idea of how things should be, even though our idea ain't worked.
Yes. Okay. So now how important is family? I know it's important to you, and I know you already said it, but how important is family to the overall reproduction of the race?
Well, it's very important right now because our birth numbers are down. And I don't know if Black people realize that. They have offered us the abortion as a form of birth control. And so a lot of our younger women, they just get 3 or 4 abortions a year and use it for birth control because they're offered to us free. They're in our communities and a lot of things. And sometimes we don't even tell the men that we are pregnant. Or sometimes we'll go around to 3 or 4 men and tell them we're pregnant and need an abortion and collect $500 or $600 from each one of them. So we've done a lot of things about that. The structure of family has been so destroyed for us. It is really very sad. See, for many years, in fact, even right after slavery and during slavery, after slavery especially, we had more Black families, more Black men marrying Black women, and women with the men, than we have now, because we have changed our opinion of each other, and so many things have happened to tear down our moral compass. And so one of the other things that has happened is that the enemy couldn't come up with anything that would break up our families in a certain way. Okay, but when they came up with crack separated the mother from the cub. We had never had anything that separated the mother from her baby. Crack did that. And so when that broke up, then, now we're dealing with the grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren of the crack addicts, and they're traumatized. There are studies that say that when people are traumatized, it takes 17 generations to come up out of that trauma. That might be us. It may take us, as long as we were in slavery, it may take us that long to come up out of it. We haven't been free. It's been under 100 years. We don't have a big history to talk about having no freedom just because we got some football stars and basketball and Oprah and a few of those people. That doesn't mean that we're free, because a few of us have figured out how to make some money. Yeah. And so our families have been so torn apart, and we have been made to hate each other. And the other reasons is that every problem that the white woman has had with the white man, they have pushed those issues on us, or we have adopted those issues and decided that that was our problem too. When I keep saying we don't have nothing to do with the white woman and what she got going with her man. We trying to deal with our own. And as a result of our frustration and our anger, many of our men have left us to go to women of other nationalities because they feel like they can get along with them better. It's not because they're better women, but they haven't suffered the same kind of traumas that we have from childhood growing up, what we saw, what we did, and all of the things we had to go through. And so their mood is better. They ain't mad all the time like us. We be uptight. We have unrealistic expectations, and the unrealistic expectations has been our downfall. We have made up ideas about what a relationship and a husband or a man is supposed to be like. You know, we don't mind having a man as long as he don't act like a man. You know, we could be with him, but if we start coming up in that trying to give some instructions or say how he wants things or what we supposed to do, oh, we go get everybody then. Oh no, you trying to tell me what to do. Somebody need to tell us what to do. It's obvious we don't know what to do.
Yeah. You know, that's okay. That's a perfect segue to my next question. Can you break down what everybody's role is? The man, the woman, and the child. Like, what is?
Well, I can't completely do that, but I can mention some of what the tactics that have been used to maintain a civilized society where the people have somewhat of freedom, justice, and equality, even inside the family. You know, we keep talking, you know, everywhere I go, people say that final thing, you know, we just need to come together. You know, yeah, we just need to get in unity. Well, most of us can't get in unity with the people we live with the people we've been with all our life. We can't get in unity with them. So that can't be the total goal. We're going to have forced unity. See, not getting along is a luxury. Being able to disagree, break up, make up, and all of that, that's a luxury. But there will come a time based on things that we all need to survive, and where we're going to need a man, where we're going to get past a whole lot of what we got going now. It's just going to fade away. Like Trump said, it's going to poof, it'll disappear. You know, it's not going to be there. But for right now, the man's role would be to protect and provide. Now, when we say provide, that don't mean buy you every kind of weave you want that costs $800 or $900. It don't mean buy you every kind of Gucci and Fendi and Louis Vuitton. That ain't what provide means. He's going to provide direction and guidance, love, affection, discipline for our children, and help with all of those kind of things. Provide ideas. See, one of our problems as Black women is that we ain't got nothing to do. You know, other than work for white people, we don't have too much to do. You know, I go to the church, and many of us treat the people at the church and the minister like we should be treating our man at home. So, you know, we have it all mixed up. So those are some of the things that the man needs to do. He needs to not let women let us get away with things, because the moment we get away with sneaking a line, oh, we really open it up and do that a lot more because we think we've got him tricked. And that's one of the reasons that so many Black women were angry with me for putting out the Black Man's Guide to Understand the Black Woman, because our men needed a heads up. And even with that, it's hard for them. But they just have certain information they don't have about us that keeps them confused and makes them reject us and go to someplace else. He's outside looking for peace of mind. Yeah, because we're not that familiar with peace. We're just familiar with getting dressed up and putting on eyelashes and, you know, maybe even going to school. More of us are graduating from college. More of us are getting PhDs. You know, we got good credit cards. We got a whole lot of things, cars, but it hasn't made us happy. We're still sitting around talking about why we don't have companionship, which is the ultimate goal. It don't have to be marriage. It can just be some good companionship, you know, because we're alone. So with our women, one of the first things we need to deal with is nutrition. Women historically have been assigned that duty and have accepted that role because food, as I said, is what sustains life. And eating the proper food, we can decide how long our men and our women live and our children. That's just what we feed them. And so eating out every day, while it's convenient, because we're giving our all of our energy to the white people on the job. So when we come home, we're tired. So it's easier to pick up McDonald's or some other kind of junk and bring it home and feed it to our children until our children get so accustomed to eating it that they don't even want good food. They don't want vegetables. I've had so many people over the years ask me, how do you get your children to eat vegetables? And I tell them, because they don't work, they don't buy no food, they don't fix no food, and they don't do any of that. I'm the one. Then they daddy put the food on the table. And you teach them to eat that, but you have to keep them away from the sugar and so many things. It's a job. The farther away a woman works from home, the further away a woman works from home, the more the family suffers. That's the truth of how that goes. And so we, as women, our role needs to be satisfied with less. Stop trying to keep up with everybody else who don't own nothing, but try to buy everything that the enemy and the Asians make. We need to pull back some from that. You know, we think that our men only like us for how we dress, or our eyelashes, or our fake breasts, or buttocks, and all of that. That's not what they're looking for in us. And so we keep them so sexually stimulated, overstimulated, that they don't have time to consider anything else about us, because we think that's the only way to get a man, and that's the only value that we have. We have other great values. We are the queen of the universe, the mother of civilization. And so we have other things to teach. This COVID virus has done something that I've been talking about for years. We're going to be forced to educate our own children, because it's crazy anyway. No, I've never heard of any people historically that turn their children over to the enemy to educate them. These people lie. They have lied on our history and accomplishments. They have lied over every contribution we have made, not just here, but worldwide. They have claimed everything we have ever created. And so why would we give our children to them? So somebody asked me, and they were telling me, I'm not taking that virus, that shot. I'm not taking the vaccine. I say, why not? You give your children to them. Okay, you eat their food. We do everything else that destroys us. So now all of a sudden we ain't taking the vaccine. Now I'm not taking it either, but then I haven't been on that other path. And so it's a very hard time for us. But our women need to lower their dress, stop going out naked, trying to get attention from strange men. Our women need to control their sexual drive, because we'll do anything, go crazy when we have that on us, you know. And what a lonely woman won't do is just anything. So we need to pull that back some and come down from so much throwing sex on our men, so that they can have time to consider something else. They don't have the kind of discipline that'll keep them from going for that. So we need to be in the mother, the first one that touch all of the people on the earth. That's what a mother does. We need to set a different example. We need to start dressing our children more modest. You can't wait till your daughter get 14 to tell her to stop wearing halter tops and booty shorts. You can't do that. You got to start her when she's a tiny little child about being modest, you know, and how to dress. And so people say all the time to me, yeah, you talking all that old school. Now I'm talking about what worked, because what y'all got going is not working.
Yeah, facts. You know what? I'm looking at, I'm trying to I can't even keep up with all the comments that people are saying. They're like amen in you as you're talking. I don't know if you're able to see that, Miss Ali.
No, I can't see it.
Oh. Okay, well, you can watch it when you do the rerun. You'll be able to watch it. Okay. So, all right. So it's okay. I'm gonna come back to that. So you talked a little bit about the diet. Well, and then you added some more onto the diet in terms of what, you know, we have to do in order to just take care of our families. Is there anything else, or is there any other reasons why, or how the diet is important just for our families to be okay?
Yeah, we can look around and see how it's important.
Oh man, she is hilarious. I'm just gonna upload the video, but all praise go to the Most High. I just want to share that part where she talked about specific subjects. So I'm about to work on a music video, so I just want to share some information. Y'all brothers and sisters, stay up.